What up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back with another video, and this is the wrestling news on November 27, 2024, where we're going to be talking the wildest and intriguing news stories and rumors that you assassinators need to know from the Wrestling Inc. article, starting things off with Roman Reigns addresses Paul Heyman's incredibly shady behavior lately. The wise man, known as Paul Heyman, returned to last week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, coming to the aid of the OG bloodline and finalizing the squad for their upcoming War Games match against the new bloodline at Survivor Series 2024 by bringing back CM Punk to join the team. Original tribal chief, like Roman Reigns joined Sports Illustrated and spoke about Heyman expressing surprising awareness of the WWE Hall of Famer, despite Heyman's apparent assistance on SmackDown this past Friday, which is assuming to be exactly a week from then, and he stated, Paul has been incredibly shady, if you don't ask me. I've seen some of the speculations. Well, you didn't answer his phone calls, and all this and that. But at the end of the day, when I take my leave, there's no question of what I'm doing. I'm recessing back to family, to change the hat, to put on that family, to change the hat, to put on that fatherhood hat, to focus that way. I can come in and come back and dominate and run the show and present my family at the highest capacity, at the highest standard, position. So there's no questions when I leave. Reigns then remarked that the question is what happened with Heyman during his leave. Heyman was attacked by Solo Sikoa's bloodline on SmackDown earlier this year in June, receiving a Shield style powerbomb through the announce table at ringside, while Heyman clearly has a motive for vengeance against Sikoa and the bloodline. Reigns feel a need to perform his own counseling, for his long time special counsel. There's a lot of things that we just haven't I had the time to really dive into, and and that's really just it's been for me. Right now, I have just as many questions for the wise man as you, and I just haven't had the time just due to our busy schedules. But what are your thoughts on to Roman Reigns' him being with him being very shocked on Paul Heyman's behavior, and yeah, it's very shocking for Roman Reigns to point this out, with him being extra suspicious. I mean, not too surprised, but at the same time, very surprised enough for him to talk about in an interview with someone like Sports Illustrated, with a with a sports organization like these guys, in a broadcast interview like this. I would not expect Roman Reigns to be expressing this in a billion years, despite being the OTC babyface. I still cannot believe this, but let me know down in the comment section right down below. But yeah, I'm somewhat shocked. But I mean, even though I'm not too shocked about this, but still like shocked enough like for him pointing this out in this it's obvious example like what Paul Heyman's doing right now. Even though he is helping them out, but how can we trust Paul Heyman to help out the OG bloodline at War Games? I mean, I get like we can, but at the same time, like, can we? What I'm asking right here. And do you think do you think that CM Punk and Paul Heyman are actually on Roman's side or against him, and being enemies themselves against the OTC? Let me know down in the comment section right down below on that question as well. But I think for now, like when it comes to this new bloodline problem, I could just see them like just taking care of them first, and then after they beat them, then they're going to be having some beef of their own. But that's probably not going to be happening. Maybe not until like in the beginning of 2025, like after the draft and stuff happens, like and when they're on the same brand, like whether if it's SmackDown or Raw. Because right now CM Punk is on Raw, and he's rumored to be the one to dethrone Gunther, not Damian Priest, for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, plans could change and they could move CM Punk over to SmackDown, but I think they're going to keep him on Raw for the time being, and Roman Reigns like into the opposite brand, respectively, until they figure out who's going to be moving brands to either whether if it's Raw or SmackDown at this time. But moving on forward, we got some Ricky Starks news of opens up about his mind effing of AEW absence. Former AEW World Tag Team Champion, the absolute Ricky Starks, is someone that has made a number of mind lines like in 2024 for the simple fact that he hasn't been around. He was last seen in AEW back in March, and since then, rumors and reports on his whereabouts have been ramped. Starks was able to address a lot of the speculation about his current position in AEW as well as his future. Recently, on the latest episode of the Inside Podcast, while being interviewed by Chris Van Vliet, where he revealed how difficult it has been for him to not be wrestling on a consistent basis. He explains, I just been home. It's kind of a mind effing because mind effort. I mean, yeah, mind F or whatever you want to call it. Like it's called I'll say mind F because I'm in my prime, and it sucks like when you're on such a momentum, like riding the wave, doing work and doing stuff, and then to just be a home for so long, you're kind of like whoa, like it kind of throws it off. I am not meant to be at home. I'm not meant to be a homebody. In this current phase of my in this current phase in my life, I'm not meant to be just chilling at home and doing not the thing that I have been busting my ass to do for the past 13 years. While he hasn't been featured like in WWE for the I mean the W I said the AEW. I should know that, like, where that even came from. I'm starting to turn into Jim Ross right now. But anyways, it featured like in AEW for the majority of 2024. Starks have managed to get involved in some independent shows as of late, with the most recent being GCW's Dream On, which has since led to him being booked for a match against Matt Cardona at GCW's highest in the room 3 on December 14th. He has also made appearances for companies like House of Glory Pro Wrestling and Big Time Wrestling since his last AEW match, clearing up rumors of him like not being medically cleared to compete. And also, why has Ricky Starks been absent from AEW in question? But before I get into that, I want to ask you, uh, like, do you think that we could be seeing Ricky Starks at some point, like at this time, or maybe in the beginning of 2024 or five? I mean, like maybe make the return at Wrestle Dynasty, or maybe even earlier than that, like a week or 2 weeks later. I'll say like a week. So, like, do you think it could be at World's End that he can make his AEW long-awaited, like, since March? I'll say about a long-awaited 9-month return. Let me know down in the comment section right down below, or maybe even 10-month return, depending like when he does makes that long-awaited. But anyways, like. Like adding to that, like following the stories of Ricky Stark's absence, at All Elite Wrestling. Like as for why Starks has been away from the All Elite promotion for quite a long time now. Like multiple different people have a variety of answers, but when you ask the one and I mean the absolute wrestler, even like he doesn't know, and he adds, beats me. Like I could have 1,000 theories about what's really going on. Like the fact of the matter is that if I don't have a definite a definitive answer, like I can just make you an answer for people, like and just assume like would I love to know the exact reason in question for sure. Like do I have speculations like about like why absolutely like but that does not nothing to speak on things that I speculate, does nothing for further speculation. Like so I think like it's just a matter of it sucks. Like it's been a very cold day here in Austin. Like it's been a very cold day. Like May like have been like cold for the past 9 months. Like not sure, but thankfully I have a sweater like, and I'm always ready to keep the warmth going. Starks like was backstage at the recent AEW Full Gear pay-per-view like on November 23rd in an appearance like that was reportedly very welcome to those behind the scenes. His future in AEW might be more than of the same, like as his contract with the company isn't set to expire until spring of 2025. Fightful Select reports that his contract was originally set to expire in spring of 2024, but AEW picked up an extra year, like option to retain him. However, since that option like was picked up, Starks has not been featured on AEW television. And what are your thoughts on to the future of Ricky Starks? And do you think that this report is true from what was it? Fightful Select, yeah. Like, do you think that he did they did sign a year extension so he could stay around until the spring of 25, or do you think that or do you think that like he signed for either more than that, or he's probably already a free agent, like in AEW trying to wait for him to see if he's going to resign with the company, or is he going to move on to another company, perhaps a company that was made from Stamford, Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Let me know down in the comment section right down below. I mean, that cannot be the other option besides AEW. Maybe it could be a TNA. Maybe it could be New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe it could be CMLL. Maybe it could be AAA. Maybe it could be any of all those pro wrestling, or even Major League Wrestling, or go back to the NWA. Like, yeah, like he has plenty of options probably right now at this point. If he did wanted to leave AEW, like he has multiple options on who he could go, and you don't just have to pick WWE. But one reason for in particular, I think it'll be because of seeing how his longtime wrestling buddy Cody Rhodes is doing, and that's him being in the main event position. And he's like, maybe I could be like that if you give me a few years of working there in that company, I could be a world champion myself. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, like about this AEW deal, if this is true about his status in the Jacksonville-based company. But moving on, we got Bully Ray assesses the New Day's unraveling on WWE Raw, like in this week on WWE's Red brand, the relationship between the New Day members Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods continue to deteriorate. Uh, continue to deteriorate after quickly losing a tag team bout against Alpha Academy. The duo proceed to have an argument backstage, trading insults and barbs until like both men walk away in anger. And speaking on his latest edition of the Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray shared his thoughts like on the storyline and explain professional shots like landed, personal shots landed, like each one of them. Like I sat back and went, wow, Kofi's got a point. Like wow, like Woodsy got a point as well. Like Woods and Kofi were fighting like brothers, which Bully found like fitting considering how long the tag team has been together, and now and how close they've become. Like the WWE Hall of Famer compared their relationship to his own, like with a longtime tag team partner Devon Dudley, like stating that like Dave would have similar arguments in the past. In general, Bully is against tag team breakup angles, like, but the wrestler and radio like host like made an exception, like in the case, like as he felt the storylines execute the execution like has kept him invested in whatever happens next. Like while some believe Big E might arrive and bring Kofi and Woods back together, Bully actually hopes for another outcome, like in the same episode of the Busted Open Radio, like stating, I don't know why I should really be into the New Day anymore. Like they've done so much. Like they are like the most declared tag team in the history of WWE. Like I'm on board like with this dissension. Like this dissension. Like I'm on board with this rivalry. I think like it can go far. Bully could envision either Kofi Kingston or Woods like as the heel, like in a feud like between the two. But there was one more scenario that the former ECW star pitched as an alternative like to a breakup. Like if the New Day were to stay together, like Bully said he would want to see them renew their long time rivalry with the Usos. But what are your thoughts onto these ideas? Like with like what's your thoughts? What's your opinions about Bully Ray's thoughts onto this upcoming breakup with the New Day? With like and how do you think where they should lead going forward with this rivalry? Even though he's not much of a guy that loves tag team breakups, but this is an exception. Like with them telling the story here, like with them being a long-term decorated tag team, and then they've been teasing a lot of like tensions, like with Xavier Woods being the type of not needing some help, only just need him and Kofi, but Kofi's not listening to him, and that's where they're gonna get these arguments, like typical brothers that's not on the same page, like in the family. Which Simon, or I rather compare them as married couple, like a mom and dad. Which I'm not sure who's the mom and who's the dad. But anyways, yeah, I can see what Bubba Ray's talking about, and maybe like they should go in like with them on in the long term like storyline with the Usos as well. Like with one of them could be the heel. Maybe we could see Big E could join with them as a heel tag team to fight the Usos. Like depending on what brand they're gonna be on, either Raw or SmackDown, which I'm hoping for a Raw. But I'm not sure if they should like have Big E could root for the other that's gonna be heel. And who do you think is going to be the heel, though, like if they do break up between Woods and Kingston? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But either way, this coming Monday on December 3rd, I believe. December 2nd. It's December 2nd. December 3rd is on Tuesday afterwards, with that go home show edition of NXT. I meant to say, yeah, the December 2nd edition of Monday Night Raw. We're going to see the 10-year anniversary of Monday Night. I mean, of the 10-year anniversary of the New Day on that edition of the Red Brand. And I'm going to keep you up to date, like, and let you know what exactly happened. Like, was there breakup, or at least the tease that we need to know of? But yeah, again, I'm gonna let you guys know once I get some updates on that when I watch the show, and let you know like what went down, like and what's the outcome, or what's leading up to, like, or something like that. But I sure hope that it's gonna be an obvious breakup, and I'll say not too obvious, because we don't know who's the one that's gonna be turning on who. But anyways, even though we might know one in particular, but we're just gonna move on and talk about that this coming Monday. You got some Orange Cassidy assesses like AEW's growth since 2019. Like Orange Cassidy like has more matches under his belt than anyone else in AEW. That's true, and that's very shocking to think about, because he's been there since day one, since 2019. Like when he was in the Casino Battle Royal. I think he was even on the debut show of Dynamite, because I remember watching that. But yeah, like he's been like pretty much like on every single episode. Like he roughly missed a few episodes like of Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage. When it's either because like he's either suffered an injury, or he's doing some rare working commitments for independent show, or New Japan, or CMLL show, or whatever show that he wrestled for. Like, but yeah, he has more matches than anybody on that roster right now, and even guys that used to wrestle there, obviously, because they went to the likes of TNA or Major League Wrestling or WWE. But anyways, making him something of a modest authority on the current state of the company. Cassidy recently spoke with Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge, like, and reflected on how far AEW has come in just 5 years later. And he started with, AEW was daunting, like when I first came back in 2019, because the amount of talent like was incredible, like, and I felt like every year it doubled, and they're just getting better. I feel that we have some of the best professional wrestlers like to ever do it, like on the roster. Cassidy also admitted, like in intermittent, intermittent reports, like of problems like inside the AEW locker room. He attributed like the noise to typical internet rumor, and mongering like that, that exaggerates like the negatives, while ignoring the positives. He added, "The locker room is a in AEW is incredible. I think what we're trying to co- to cultivate like in AEW is a place where if you are an AEW roster member, we all work together to make everybody better. We're trying to make that a thing where it's not like I need to step on this person so I can get higher, up, like on the ladder. Like we're going to help each other up the ladder. Wherever his favorite resident also addressed AEW's low attendance figures, chalking it up to typical growing pains that any young company faces. We're gonna have a go to through adjustments. This isn't gonna be a thing that in only now problems we're going to have problems throughout our entire tenure. I always feel that the powers that be in AEW are trying to do their best to bring the best product it's worth. Nothing or noting that WWE has also faced similar attendance difficulties at various points in the past. And what are your thoughts on Orange Cassidy, stating all this, with with him, seeing what the AEW locker room is like for the last 5 years and what it is right now currently, and it's not bringing each other down, much rather bringing himself up and making the show and the company in general the most successful as it's been for the last 5 years. But let me know down in the comment section right down below what your opinions about this, and do you think that we're going to be seeing another 5 years or 10 years even, which I assume they were TNA doing some very impressive what's the milestones breaking records of them making it by 15 years and then 20 years, and then some tell me for another decade they're going to be making it for over 30 years, if not more than that. Just like WWE has made it past 60 years of being a very popular wrestling giant, I guess you could refer, everybody likes to call it. But what are your opinions about Orange Cassidy's affirmations about the AEW roster, currently and in the past, and throwing in some little bit of comparisons of WWE as well? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But moving on forward, we got do you think that and I do think AEW is going to be growing some more, like I said, but in a different terminology. But yeah, I think that AEW has plenty more years of worth in it, and everybody's going to be a fan of it, just like they are with WWE. And casual fans, when they're fan of the likes of football or basketball or baseball, they're going to tune in for the NFL or UFL, and then baseball, Major League Baseball, and then the basketball in the NBA. That's what the fans are going to be liking to watch, because it's going to bring in some entertainment of what's the sports for. But moving on, we got Tommy Dreamer says this WWE Raw storyline has him hooked. And we got a former WWE and a former WWE and ECW star and legend, and I mean legend. He's a current legend, of course. This past Monday on Raw, things like escalated like between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day following their shocking loss against to Alpha Academy, leaving both men like to butt heads like and backstage ahead of their 10-year anniversary celebration next week on Raw. After several months of Woods like lashing out like and blaming like the misfortune on others, Kofi Kingston finally snapped after Woods began to blame their most recent loss on him. The relationship between the two seemed to be at an all-time low, and on Busted Open Radio Dark, or Busted Open After Dark, actually, that's what it's called. Like the ECW legend Tommy Dreamer expressed like how invested he's been like with the long-term storytelling of the New Day saga. He shared, I really enjoy it. Like they did it differently tonight. Like we saw like the aftermath like of a match. I have had those conversations with my partners. Like I have had those conversations with the wrestlers I wrestled, like Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Like man, like they had me hooked. Like we have seen like this like long drawn out like where things like are not happy in the new Dayville, like and we're coming up like on promoting like next week. Like I think like for a long for a lot of us, like we are the kids like in the divorce. Like I don't I think anybody really wants to see New Day break up. Like the last time I've been like this invested like on something that happened like post match like this was actually during a match like and it was the split of the mega powers. Yeah, like dreamers continue that's the Dreamers. Like if there's more than one of Dreamers. But anyways, it's Dreamer without the extra S. Tommy Dreamer continued by pointing out like the risk of breaking up history tag teams, explaining how one member of a team can excel like more like in a singles role than the other, like using the Hardys, the Dudleys, and the APA as an examples, like as examples like of that happening before in WWE. And what are your thoughts on Tommy Dreamer being well invested into this saga between Kofi and Xavier Woods? And also, like, do you see? Could you see one of them could thrive more than the other, like when they split up, or they're going to be fairly like being pushed into the moon? Well, I don't think Kofi should be pushed as much as Xavier Woods, and like he don't need to be fully pushed, like maybe partially for at least one more world title run before he retires. But that's gonna be for a different day. But also, like, let me know in the comments about Xavier Woods. Do you think he could be pushed into the moon and maybe he can even have a world title run probably in the next year from now? Just like something similar to Seth Rollins when he turned on the Shield, like, and he like was getting his own success, winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then trying to fight Brock Lesnar for that world championship until the time was right when he did the heist of the century, by cashing in the Money in the Bank contract, hitting the curb stop on the Roman Reigns and get the pinfall from him after Roman Reigns spirit Brock Lesnar when he kind of saved Seth Rollins, even though he didn't mean to, but he accidentally did so. And Seth Rollins took advantage of the moment, curb stomping Roman Reigns' face right into the ground. Let's hope that we don't see the same with Xavier Woods against Kofi Kingston in that manner, like with him stealing the world title victory from me. But you know WWE, they even for the Triple H Renaissance era, I think they're still going to put on something like a screwy upset to put some sympathy on Kofi Kingston, and then on Kofi Kingston and and then make what's his name, like Xavier Woods, even more worse than the bad guy than Dirty Dominic Mysterio has been from the last 2 years. And but I hope they do follow it up with Kofi Kingston does finally get some justice and revenge and wins that exact world championship. Something that unfortunately did not happen with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Like when Roman Reigns tried to win the world title from him, when it was time to do so, like at the end of 2015, Seth Rollins suffered that what was that? That ankle injury that shattered his ankle or knee? What was it? It was in that live event when he actually stomped on it really hard and it shattered it to the pieces in his bone. Like when he tried to go for a sunset flip powerbomb right through the table against Kane in a live event for the world championship. But let's hope won't be the same for Woods. Like when they do a world heavyweight or WWE championship rivalry match, like when they're getting that prepared and Kofi Kingston seeking to get some revenge, like after match to him keep losing, like his chances of winning, like whether if it's distractions or cheating antics, like with what Xavier Woods would do to him, and Kofi Kingston will fail every time until we got that big moment, whether if it's the 2026 or 2027 or whatever, like WrestleMania or SummerSlam that they fight in for that Zach Heavyweight Championship. But yeah, we're just gonna have to speculate this probably like more like in the upcoming future, like when the split does happen. But for now, let's move on to the next news. We got Raw viewership and ratings report like from the November 25th, 2024 episode of Monday Night Raw. In the Red Brand show this past Monday, continued stretch like to 2 hour shows to conclude 2024 with significant developments, like playing out like for Jade Cargill, the New Day, the WWE World Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship scenes. Like ratings for the show are in things stay just about even compared to last week. According to data gathered by WrestleNomics, Raw brought in an average viewership of 1.5 million, 1.5 million and 10,000 viewers, and a programming of 18 to 49 ratings, like of 0.47 in total viewership, was about the same as last week, while the key demographic fell by 4% apart from Monday Night Football. Raw was the top primetime show on cable for the night. Looking back at Raw's ratings from last November, the show is currently down 4% in total viewership and 6% in the key demo. However, when comparing the average ratings of Q4 2023 and 2024, Raw has actually increased its audience by 4%, with both Raw and WWE SmackDown currently airing on the USA Network. It's easier to fairly compare the ratings between the two shows. Raw's and Monday's Raw fell slightly behind last Friday's SmackDown in total viewership, while just barely overcoming it in the key demo. The upcoming episode of SmackDown is set to feature CM Punk interacting with his new allies on the original Bloodline, which should be able to draw in more viewers than a typical episode. Giving Raw some extra competition, starting at the beginning of 2025, Raw will air on Netflix, and viewership information will likely be harder to come by at the same time. AEW Dynamite will start simulcasting simulcasting on streaming platform Max, meaning its traditional TV ratings will become less yeah will be less useful as data metrics. But what is your thoughts on onto the viewership of Monday Night Raw? Do you think it's more better than the last few weeks of Raw, or do you think it could have been better? At least having a 2 million viewership, it could have been more better with a minimum of 2 million viewers, or do you think that, like I said, it was good enough in this way in the status quo? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But yeah, I'd like to hear your suggestions, what's your opinions on to what are your opinions and what the WWE should do, if they want a better if they want to make the viewership in WWE more relevant like they once were, back over 25 years ago. But anyways, yeah, let's move on. We got AEW's Orange Cassidy, like thinks he's more old school, than critics say. And yeah, I'll say I totally agree with the freshly squeezed orange. That's what even my own father said before. Once he saw Orange Cassidy back a couple years ago, he's more like an old schoolboy. With him being the cool boy in the 1980s. And I even explained to him he's trying to be like a cool orange wrestler, which he died with laughter when I told him about explaining what his character is. But anyways, AEW star freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy is one of the promotion's biggest merch sellers and heavily featured on television and in major feuds with the likes of his recent shot as of late is John Moxley for his AEW World Championship during the Full Gear pay-per-view. However, he often gets flacked for his wrestling style from veterans and fans alike. But according to the Cool Orange himself, he's actually an old school wrestler. And while speaking to Sportskeeda's Wrestling Binge, and I believe in that same interview, Orange Cassidy added and mentioned he is an old school wrestler at heart, and addressed the criticisms made by some about him not respecting the industry. I tend to think they've never seen me wrestle, and they don't know what they're talking about, Cassidy claims. When asked about who inspired him, the AEW star noted that he wasn't inspired by any single wrestler, but instead looked at different styles. And he continued, "I never wanted to be like anybody. I enjoy, obviously, I enjoy it, because I watch it, but there was never one person I wanted to emulate. Like I I just embraced who I am, and I wanted to be different. I wanted to be unique, so I tried to do the opposite. Like uh, do the opposite of what everybody was saying in a way that works in professional wrestling. While explaining, and this is where Cassidy said while explaining where he got the inspiration behind his character. The star further explained that putting his hands in the pockets during his matches was an idea he came up with during a match in Beyond Wrestling. And what are your thoughts on this very insane reveal, in a good way, of course? about the freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, about his character, including the hands in his pocket. I always think that these, assuming that he really is an orange by putting his hands in his orange pockets, like saying, like 1 minute he may not have any limbs, but the next minute he do by taking them out of his orangey pockets that are very refreshingly squeezed, like that he claims that they are. Which I don't really doubt him when he says that, because he looks pretty fresh indeed, like probably fresh as a than a ripe orange that grew out of the orange bush or tree. It's an orange tree, actually. Yeah, he looks fresh and right as an orange from a tree that grows oranges, of course. Or should I just say an orange tree, like an apple tree? But yeah, again, let me know down in the comment section right down below what's your opinions about Orange Cassidy's character? Do you think it's catchy and it looks like a main event level character? And that should speak for itself as a future world champion. Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But let's move on and let's end today's wrestling news with some D-Generation X news with a member says he'll be visiting WWE NXT, which we mentioned last night on the NXT review. Make sure to check that out, Assassinators, on the previous night. But it says right here, D-Generation X was one of the most popular stables in WWE history, in decades after their peak. They continue to be appreciated by fans, both new and old, with both Triple H and Shawn Michaels in major creative roles, in WWE, today. It's only natural that WWE continues to reference DX, and even bring in a former member of for segments. And it seems like the latest such nostalgic appearance is set on ex Sean Waltman Pac, and directly addressed HBK, saying, "Hey, next week's NXT show looks too good to miss. I'm coming to Orlando, not to see the Homesman Hurricane, of course. That'll be very oddly interesting, but still very unusual, because I thought he did not know him, because at least that's what the homeless man told me. He didn't know him personally. When it comes to meeting the wrestlers, other than meeting the wrestlers, especially Booker T being one of them on the list of the guys that he met. But anyways, he's gonna go to Orlando to watch it live, and while posting it on his X account, which you can see right here, with him giving a shout out to the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. But what are your takes on? And last night's NXT notably featured an appearance by Eric Bischoff, who Waltman also has a lot of history with, having working under Bischoff in WCW, as well as appearing alongside him on screen, as a member of the NWO. Bischoff will be the acting general manager next week, and considering that it'll be the last episode ahead of NXT's premium live event deadline. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, will likely put out all the stops to build momentum. Going into the show, Waltman last competed in 2022, suffering a defeat to Joey Janela during a GCW event. Joey Janela's spring break, 6-part 1 event, in the process that Waltman competed in. So it remains to be seen if fans will witness like the WWE Hall of Famer like get physical with anyone. And at this point, like earlier this year, Waltman looked back at his time spent in WCW, where he recalled how the creative process like worked for him and the rest of the NWO. A contingent like of contrary to most stars, like speaking about like the company like in hindsight, like he chose to focus on the positive, like even if things ultimately went south. But what do you think? What's Sean X Pac Waltman's gonna be doing like when he do make this appearance on NXT like on December 3rd, like which will be the first Tuesday of December, and secondly the go home show of Deadline, which is the next pay per view of the Black and Silver and Yellow brand show. Like the premium live event there, and do you think he's gonna be getting physical in some capacity? What if it's between Trick Williams and Ridge Holland with him helping out fight the most dangerous man in NXT, or do you think it's gonna be like in a different kind of caliber and different storyline feud? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. About the caliber, I mean, I'll say maybe when it comes to the next feud, yes, I say that correctly. But yeah, that'll be it for today, Assassinators. And let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite wildest and intriguing news stories and rumors that you Assassinators need to know today on November 27th. Like, and I would say if I had to pick one, I would have to give to the Roman Reigns interview with Sports Illustrated, with him being completely I'll say, what's that word? Like with him being very shocked and surprised of Paul Heyman's behavior lately, and let's hope he's hoping that let's hope it not have anything to do with him turning on him, because he do have a past of doing that. Like with the likes of Brock Lesnar and who else like that he turned on. There was a couple other guys. I'll say, just ask Brock Lesnar for an example. Even though maybe I shouldn't be mentioning him because he's still not out of the question, out of the accusation list of who was involved in Vince McMahon's sex trafficking and a sexual assault case, I guess you could say. Yeah, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Like you got like a history of turning on his clients like in the past before. But the only thing I can remember, I could say CM Punk before, but CM Punk did not want to be his manager anymore. But I think that he counts as he betrayed him because he insisted that he still be make him still be his advocate, and that's where once he allowed him to, he get stabbed in the back and get attacked by both him and Curtis Axel. But luckily, he managed to get his revenge at the Hell in a Cell when he was in a handicap match with Ryback, with him and Ryback and CM Punk in a handicap match. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, like if we're gonna be seeing similar stuff, like with Paul Heyman doing it to Roman Reigns here at this point. Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But yeah, and I hope I'll see you guys tonight on the AEW Thanksgiving Eve edition of Dynamite, which I'm gonna be talking about what exactly went down. What just went down on the latest edition of the Dynamite post show, like after AEW Full Gear, what fell out on the show into development. In which the only thing I know that's going to be scheduled on the show is Chris Jericho is going to be defending his ROH World Championship in a Part 2 rematch against Tomohiro Ishii. Like because the last time they fought, I think it was during Thanksgiving week, and it was like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, like today, like 2 years ago. What a funny coincidence! What are the chances? But yeah, who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be the Learning Tree teacher, or do you think it's going to be the iron-headed pit bull, I should say? I think that's what his nickname is. But either way, just leave a comment below who's going to walk out of Chicago, Illinois, the best place to go on the post-show Dynamite for some reason. Like only for those post-show pay-per-views. Like post-show after AEW pay-per-view, they normally go there when they're in the United States because they could be like in a different state or a different state or city or a different city, state, or even country, like if they do a post-show dynamite when they're in an international pay-per-view, like whether if it's in England or Japan or even maybe even Australia in the future. Well, they haven't hosted a pay-per-view in Japan yet. That's not until January. While February they're going to be hosting Grand Slam, the pay-per-view, like a couple days after my birthday in Australia. I'm glad I can get to watch this on Max because they said on the first week of January they're going to be a semi streaming like all the shows like Dynamite and Rampage. Not Rampage, Collision, because I think they're going to drop Rampage. But I think they're still going to have the reruns on the streaming service for a little bit. But they're going to be there'll be semi what's that called, playing live broadcasting on to the streaming service, like and also like we're gonna be seeing some pay-per-views. We don't have to be worried about paying like extra a couple of dollars just to watch the pay-per-views like we have been doing from the last like for a while now. Like, well, for me, I've been doing it for like a whole year, but that's probably going to be stopping by January 2025 when I watch the Wrestle Dynasty pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's what it's called. But yeah, let me know about that as well. Like, are you ready for it? Which the one match that's been announced is Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. I sure hope it's for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and hopefully Kenny Omega wins that. So two of my favorite wrestlers win they're both the men's and women's championships. Yeah, but yeah, like that's until like when they go to Tokyo, like for that pay-per-view. But yeah, this is gonna be it for now. And let me know tonight who's gonna be the walking out of Chicago, the favorite city that they love hosting post-show dynamites after their big pay-per-views at. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section right down below. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I hope y'all having a fun, wonderful Wednesday / Thanksgiving Eve afternoon. And I'll see you all in the next video with some more SNA content until we meet again. Super Ninja Austin out of here. Bye-bye, my Assassinators. Y'all take care and have a super-rific, awesome afternoon and the rest of your evening until we meet again tonight. And I'll see you guys then with the next video. Bye-bye.